Welcome to Star Citizen and the detailed analysis of the Squadron 42 presentation in the context of the CitizenCon 2953. Chris Roberts blew up the bomb that Squadron 42 is feature complete and is currently in the polishing phase. And traditionally, of course, no specific release date was mentioned. But a release is to be expected in the next 1 to 2 years. And what we got to see in the presentation with gameplay scenes also makes it seem realistic. So let's take you with us for a detailed analysis of the material shown, which we got to see in the context of the CitizenCon 2953. Because there were a few more areas in here that it seems at first glance. And of course, we'll leave the cinematic areas, which were to be seen in the presentation, uncommented for you, so you can enjoy it.
Archangel 6, come in.
Go for 6.
I'm getting a faint contact on bearing 287. You picking that up?
Yeah, got it. Scanning now. We're clear. Commercial vessel out of Vega 3. Provided that civilian traffic is restricted under lockdown.
Copy that.
Archangel, this is Grugari.
Come back, Grugari.
Redirect to sector 7 Bravo Echo for immediate tasking.
Copy that. On our way.
I know I just wrote you, but a couple of hours ago, proximity sensors on the other
side of the jump got twigged. Word is it might be that clan we've been battling with. I guess that last fight didn't scare them
off
off.
quite like we all hoped it would. Honestly, we've been out here so long, I don't know what to
Pull for anymore. I just wanted to let you know.
I'll write as soon as I can. Stay safe. Your loving son.
Never gets old, does it?
Sir,
Eddies. I used to do the same thing when I was first coming up. Post up to the flight deck whenever I could to watch the launches. Have you seen the F-8s up close?
no, sir.
The thing's a beast. Nimble, too.
12 maneuvering thrusters and 3 mains. It sure sounds like it. Sir.
Captain McLaren, to the bridge. Captain McLaren, to the bridge.
I saw you apply to the Flight Academy again.
Yes, sir.
Keep your head up. Took me a couple times before I got in.
Thank you, sir.
And already in the first cinematic scene, we saw our character, so the game character you create for Squadron 42. Because here, we got to see different models, both male and female in different variations, and also the updated version of the Moby class, which we already saw at the last CitizenCon demo and which has been significantly improved. And here we find next to our character name, our log, the personal status, messages and our mission manager, and the new star map. There is also the integrated Galactipedia, so the Wikipedia for Star Citizen, where we can find background information and more. And of course, the character models are also up to date with the new DNA update, and in addition there were some new shaders such as sweat, blood and more. But we'll see this point in detail later. But not only the latest version of the Moby class was on display, but also all other UI and HUD elements. In the latest version, and especially in the cockpit, there are extensive changes and clearly noticeable. For example, the compact ship overview with gimbal mode, ammunition and capacitor energies. The MFDs also have been completely redesigned with overlying flight information such as flight mode, speed and current direction. The radar in the center has also been upgraded to show clearer altitude information, and the power management has been made much clearer. Here we find information on the current status of the shields, our afterburner and our countermeasures. The target display has moved to the top right. In addition, by switching to the different operator modes, we can call up additional information about our target, depending on the situation. And so it is also possible to zoom in on a target in combat. The cockpit view looks much tidier and more compact after all HUD elements have been banished from the center to the sides, allowing us to enjoy much more immersion and overview. And these new elements should not only apply to combat, but also, of course, to industrial operations and ships. But also in the FPS area there was a completely new UI redesign. Not only has a minimap been added, but also a position indication in degrees. Of course, the minimap for ground operations is particularly exciting, as it gives us a ground map. However, we will see this more in detail in a moment. So, in addition for better navigation, a horizontal and vertical indication of the position as well as various signatures displayed in the same way as in the ship. So stealth gameplay is possible.
Get out of sight, the Cutlass is gonna spot you.
And with this little boat trip, not only was the announced water gameplay confirmed, but it was also shown what the new water effects look like. We will present these in more detail in the dedicated panel in our Best of CitizenCon.
See the boat, kid. You're good to keep going.
The flight model has also been significantly adapted and revised. Here we will notice clearly different effects on the pilot when we are flying in the atmosphere or in weightlessness space. In the next scene we got a glimpse of the latest version of the new context menu. However, this is rather a minor graphical adjustment, because the system itself remains unchanged. What is much more interesting, however, is that the multi-tool has been completely revised. This has a much more pistol-like look in Squadron 42, and as we can see later, we can cycle through various functions without a corresponding attachment. Already known from the cargo grid update is the possibility to place different objects at corresponding locations, which are graphically deposited and then fixed there. Another exciting feature is the power display of the tractor beam, which, depending on the load, can reach its limits at some point. And here, presumably depending on the size of the object which we want to move, a different tool will be necessary.
Unidentified vessels, this is the UEE Navy. Power down your ships and stand by for processing.
There you go. F*** off the coil's ass.
Also exciting is the UI interface, which can be adjusted depending on the situation, where HUD elements are displayed and marked in different colors. And here we see the option to zoom in on the target and display additional information, depending on the chosen mode.
Damn skank! Take him off me! No!
There was also a look at the new inventory and loot management, and this area was never one of the strengths of Star Citizen. In addition, the new view shows its own inventory in the lower area. In the different areas and in the upper area the corresponding loot container or here the fallen opponent. The much better clarity immediately catches the eye, without having to select different areas, whereas a 3D view of the character is missing. In the FPS scenes shown, many improvements are noticeable. Not only the mentioned minimap at the top left corner, but also a partially destructible environment and a clearly adapted weapon handling. But we cannot expect a completely destructible environment like a battlefield. There are probably individual areas here that can show a certain degree of destruction. Exciting is the scanner use. Here, detected opponents in range are not only displayed behind walls, but also marked in color. In addition, we get a skeleton view below the armor about the health status, which we know from the current FPS Halloween event. But also buildings, vegetation as well as enemy ships can be scanned and detected in this way. Similarly, we find the currently selected mission targets in the upper right corner. And in the upper left corner, as mentioned, a color-coded minimap with recognized opponents and other objects that are in our scanner range. And also the sound backdrop as the weapon handling make a significantly expanded impression. In the next scene, we see the address change of different multi-tool possibilities, without the change of a corresponding attachment. But also character movements, especially in weightlessness, with the EVA up that are clearly visible. But it is questionable whether these are scripted events or whether they are actively controlled, or a push and pull, where we expect some improvements already in the push and pull area as well as in the EVA area. But also small details such as the display changing here during an interaction are also exciting. But here too, the question arises as to whether the event is scripted or really calculated dynamically by the game engine. Another visual highlight is the new quantum jump animation, although we are curious to see whether alien ships also have a separate one here as before.
Agent Trejo, this is Colton, come back. Always trips me out to see terraforming setups like this. Webb tried explaining how atmosphere processors work. Really shows how far we've come. The hell is she?
So yeah, man, I can't believe it. They said I've got to wait another 2 years before I can reapply. So that's why I figured I'd get a job trying in security, because that's, you know, I can get some hours flying in the cockpit and whatnot. Can't hurt, right? Exactly.
And in the area of staging, CIG definitely doesn't need to hide from other titles.
We fight today. So in 40 years from now, when you're surrounded by everything and everyone you hold dear, and they ask, what did you do in the Battle of Vega? You can look them in the eye and say, I held the line. Men and women of the Second Fleet, I am proud to stand with you today. Good luck. Push your button.
Nice speech.
Any word from the recon team?
Not yet.
Let's get into position.
The update for character animations and faces is also a considerable improvement.
Tell me you're expecting company?
This is not good.
Because especially in comparison we see an enormous difference here.
I could have pulled this off at the Galactopedia.
Yeah, probably, but I think their solar mass calculations are wrong though.
Well, this is ridiculous.
How so?
And we can see the leap to the used technologies here more than clearly.
It'd be nice to know how much of a shitstorm we're flying into.
More like a hellstorm, Blue. One you ain't gonna fly out of.
Shut up.
Now, I hadn't seen another ship that wasn't trying to kill me in days, let alone a hauler, let alone a Jean. So you can imagine my surprise.
Here, the advantage of dynamic lighting and various new shader technologies are mainly shown. With this, Star Citizen moves to an absolute top level and can definitely keep up with other graphical AAA titles.
Mr. Wakefield, this is Lieutenant Commander Colton.
Oh, Commander, hey. Julian Wexler, I'm the field manager of this little operation. Welcome aboard the Archon. What brings the Navy to this little corner of the universe?
We got you flying with Lieutenant Commander Colton. He's one of our best.
And what individual new shader technologies can do, we see in the next example. This makes representations such as sweat, blood or dirty faces possible. Very impressive.
How did you handle it after Vega?
I'm not sure I handled anything. It helps to remember that stuff like this is supposed to hurt.
I've never been good at dealing with problems I can't fix.
Well, this is one that you don't have to do alone.
That's good to know.
But also small background animations, such as the visible shield when a ship enters the hangar, show the current status and the possibilities of Squadron 42.
We'll do it. Done. Okay, alright. Let's do this. I have to switch out some of the interchange on the hangar deck. We're getting a weird airflow. Turning out the amount of stuff. Anyway, I'm off.
No less exciting are the functioning and very detailed animations of NPC characters, which convey a particular credibility. But here we are skeptical for the first time in terms of experience. But for a single-player expansion, this is more credible.
Let's ready some extra ice packs out of storage. Whenever gunners are on full rotation, you can always count on at least one of them getting hurt.
And of course, it was emphasized at various points that all improvements and innovations are also for the persistent universe will be made. For example, we find an extension of the animations in the cockpit. If you press a button, the character will also press the corresponding button in the cockpit.
Let's go ahead and clear for takeoff. Ground crew, prep bay for takeoff.
Copy that.
Hangar, ready for launch. Takeoff approved, Baron 2. You have the ball.
Ready and hold on as you're launched off the deck of the carrier.
Baron 2, you are cleared for launch. Have a safe flight, Baron
2. Here, however, the question arises as to how it looks with a time delay when we press a button until this is then also implemented.
I would have never thought a shotgun could be so pretty. Damn, this R97 is sleek as hell. Like a lot of other weapons in Gemini's arsenal, it has a higher rate of fire than most guns of its type.
In the next scene, we jump back to the tractor beam, the application possibilities and the new look. We'll also experience the multiple pressing of a button or a sequence in Squadron 42. This is currently an industry standard. A novelty are various weapon conditions, for example, with jamming or other problems that we have to fix manually. Here, the quality of the weapon and the current state will play a role. In how far we come to a jam or a way of functioning that doesn't quite work as expected. Also shown were some very atmospheric mission elements, whereby we assume that the material shown here often has a scripted basis. For a single player, however, it is necessary and not negligible. Also, novelty in the UI area is the display in the lower right area about the different key combinations for the different gadgets, weapons, as well as grenades, ammunition and so. In summary, we see in the current CitizenCon presentation for Squadron 42 many areas which we already knew from the past in a completely different light or in a completely updated variant. And these revisions have definitely not damaged the single-player expansion. Also, since the last presentations to the single-player campaign, some areas have already been published in the persistent universe, which makes the feature-complete message seem more credible. Therefore, according to our estimates, it is really time that we can talk about the release of Squadron 42 at all. And this in the scheduled 1 to 2 years. In addition, CIG could win back trust with the playable version of Pyro this year. This also makes Squadron 42 more likely.
Oh good, we can't hack it from this side. Graves, we got a locked door. Can you give us access?
No, I'm afraid that's a negative, Steve. I would have to add you to our system to give you override permissions, and there's a lot involved in that. It won't happen quickly.
Okay, we'll figure something out.
Classic films and games from the 70s and 80s are supposed to be the inspiration for the plot and story behind Squadron 42, with of course a modern and not less bombastic touch. So it's getting exciting. And after Squadron 42 is now going into fine-tuning, we will soon receive much more news and information about the upcoming single-player expansion of Star Citizen. Because the last few years we have been athirst for information, pictures and new videos and game elements from Squadron 42. And for citizens who have been around for a long time, there was one or the other moment of this CitizenCon where you have tears in your eyes. At least that's how I felt. But stop, there weren't just pictures of UE technology, game improvements, UI elements and more. No, we also got a little teaser for the big threat, the Vanduul. And here there have been no new updated pictures for some time.
Yes, I've been speaking with engineering and they think it might be a problem. Yeah, I'll make sure. I'm happy about it.
And Chris Roberts has once again clearly emphasized that Squadron 42 is to be the wing commander of our time. And those are not small shoes to fill. And somehow it seems hard to imagine, after all these years, to really hold something playable in our hands, and to be able to play Squadron 42 yourself soon. TM. We are of course curious. And as promised, of course, the Vanduul for you at the end. Looking forward for your comments. See you soon and see you in the verse.